So this is the workbench. To get to the workbench, I clicked on the second icon from the left. The icons, when you hover over them, they give you a little indication of what they contain. So this is the workbench. The default screen is to look at the current week's consumption of electricity for the whole organisation, in this case in VDay. If we want to, say, look at the London site, we click on the arrows here and we can cascade down to different meters. So let's have a look at London. If we want to look at a different time period, we can zoom out to 2011 by clicking here. So here we have the year so far broken down by month. If we double click on a particular bar, we'll zoom into that time period. So let's have a look at April. So here we have April broken down day by day. And again, if we double click on a particular day, we get that day broken down by hour. If we hover the mouse over a particular time period, we get some information about that period, the time, date and consumption. If we want to see that chart in terms of cost, we use the menu at the top here. Currently we're looking at it in terms of kilowatt hours, so let's have a look at it in terms of cost. All of this changed is the scale on the left hand side is now in pounds, and if I hover over it I get the consumption in terms of pounds as well. If I want to go forwards a day, I can click the right arrow up here. And if I want to save that chart, I can use the camera icon. This will allow me to save it as an image on my computer. Or if I want to save it within NSmart, I can use this floppy disk icon, which says Save to Chart Library. Let's try that. If I tick shared, it means that other users at my site will be able to see the chart as well. If I want to look at gas consumption instead of electricity, I use this button up here and choose gas. So now I'm seeing the gas consumption for the whole of VDay. If we go again down to London, we can see the gas consumption just for London. If I want to see a line chart instead, there are these controls up here. The default is a column chart. We can also do a cumulative consumption chart, a line chart and a pie chart. Let's have a look at a line chart. As with the column chart, by hovering over any particular point, I get information about that time period. If I want to see all that information at once, I can use the period details button down the bottom. So here we have the values for each point on the chart. If I want to see the total for the time period, I can use the totals button. And I also get statistics about the time period in terms of other units. So the default for gas is meters cubed, but it's showing me the total in kilowatt hours, kilograms of carbon dioxide, cost, and also the minimum, maximum, and average cubic meters. The other buttons down here allow me to view any targets I may have set for that meter, and allow me to compare that meter with another meter or the same meter with a different time period. So let's have a look at that. Click New. So we're going to compare this time period, the 13th of April, with the same day the month before. So we choose date at the top. Let's leave the name as comparison 1, and let's choose the date we want. So we're looking at Wednesday the 13th. Let's go back a month and look at Wednesday the 16th. If we want to preview the chart before we overlay it, we can click Preview and then click OK, and we get both lines overlaid on top of each other. So in orange we have the 13th of April, and in green 16th of March. Let's go back to electricity to compare two meters. So at Envido we have an Ipswich office and a London office. If we use the comparisons button again, we can compare the same day this time, but two different meters. So let's choose Ipswich. So here we have in orange the total for Envido, and in green the total for Ipswich. If we want to see the consumption of several places as a stacked column chart, we can use the multi-tool, but let's first make it into a column chart. So here we have the comparison of Envido as a whole and Ipswich again just as a column chart. Let's take that comparison away by deticking the box, and this time we'll choose multi. It's on the bottom left. If we choose Ipswich and London and click select, we see the consumption of London in orange and Ipswich in green. Let's save that chart. So that is the workbench.